Heart of Stone, whose colourful acronym is HOSE. I've got to say, the worst performance in this movie is Glenn Close. Yes, Miss Close, a name that inspires me to go, one of the most masculine women I have set eyes on in my life. Yes, Glenn is a tremendous actress. She's been on Broadway. She's been in some really good feature films that you know, but honestly, I can't get past that strange face of hers. It's not the name that inspires fantasy girl pinups, although some of you out there might disagree with that one. But honestly, when you do see her in this movie, how the mightieth have fallen. I mean, her divorces must have been so bad, it has caused her to go in this very strange direction. If I were you, Miss Close, I'd be going back to that plastic surgeon you went to and get your money back. But then again, that might be too late.
He was wiping out whole villages, trying to stamp out.
Yes, Thames Television, the station with knockers. Excuse me, there's one now. Yes, can I help you? And what that really means is...
Woke! Woke! And then you can come on each other's faces and tell each other that come on your face cleanses you of wokeness.
So I first encountered this movie while I was walking along my merry way home one day. This was probably about a month ago, and emblazoned on a double-decker bus was Gal Gadot's face and this slogan, Heart of Stone. And I looked at the poster and I thought, oh, is this like a retelling of a mythological Israeli folktale, or perhaps ancient Greece? Because that would be quite fitting for Gal Gadot, because the poster seemed to suggest it was like this ancient drama or film serialization. So lo and behold, imagine my shock and disappointment when it turns out that Heart of Stone is another generic field thriller from the people at Netflix. I mean, okay, if we look at this image here of Gal, where she's in the Parker jacket, I mean, I think of a female spy in a Parker jacket, and I go back to the 1980s.
Resume! Fire! Get up! Get up!
Because when you look at Gal Gadot, because if you keep goading her, she will dote on you like a naughty little mother would. I would expect her to have unzipped her jacket just to see the goods underneath. But of course, this is Gal Gadot, who's very serious-minded, so much so she has got a co-producer credit on this film. Now, Heart of Stone is a very odd commodity that comes out on Netflix when you have stars like Jamie Dornan and other actors that I don't necessarily know where they've been in. Apparently, it's directed by the guy who made some episodes of Peaky Blinders for the BBC. And you have some people who are involved with the Mission Impossible films in on this cakewalk. I would expect this film to be a lot shorter in length. It would have been best serviced as a 1.5 hour movie, but I guess what Netflix likes to do now is they want to keep you going with your money by watching long form content. But long form content, ladies and gentlemen, doesn't mean it's going to be plain sailing all the way. It isn't. And look, Gal Gadot, I'm so sorry, give me a slap right now. She's easy on the eye. She's very attractive. She's a very personable lady. Again, the cringe aside from 2020 when she decided to do a karaoke version of John Lennon's Imagine, we kind of forgave her for that. And of course, we tried to forget about the entity, the abomination that was Wonder Woman 1984, and I will be talking about Wonder Woman towards the end of this review. But the basic premise of Heart of Stone is this: it's to do with an AI construct, and apparently it is so fabulous that it can predict present and future events, which to me is kind of a rip-off from Person of Interest with Jim Caviezel, because if you've seen that show, the premise of it is basically stopping crimes before they are committed, and the way the machine in that show works it all out is due to the fact that it can look at people's social security numbers and know what troubles they're going through, things that conversations heard on the phone. So this heart, as we like to know it, is so incredible that Jamie Dornan, dun dun dun, this is no secret, he's the baddie of the movie. And the reason why it's no secret, because I've seen some cringy interviews from Netflix where Gal and her co-star Alia Bhatt, who plays Kaya, one of the worst characters I've ever seen in such a generic spy drama, just fawn all over Jamie Dornan. Now, Jamie Dornan is a nice looking fellow. I wouldn't say he's exactly Brad Pitt material, because I bet if Brad was in this movie, the ladies will be having an orgasm all over the place.
He's amazing. Jamie's the best, other than the fact that he's so talented and so well prepared, and always comes on time and more.
But Jamie Dornan, from what they'd say in the interviews, is a very sociable chappy, makes you feel at ease. And the reason why I say that, people like Alia Bhatt and Gal Gadot, they are foreigners. English isn't their first language. There's a bit like Jackie Chan. Remember when he started speaking English in his movies and he's kind of tripping over his words, but he eventually got there. And so I can forgive Gal for her sometimes non-delivery or conviction in the words she's been given on script.
Sometimes I had difficulties understanding what he was saying, but I bet he had the same issue with me.
But he's amazing.
In this film, she's fairly good. A couple of times you kind of see the Gal traits coming in, but apart from that, she's fine. But honestly, the plot is so ludicrous because basically Jamie Dornan is out to steal his AI, and then once he's got it, he can control the world. That is the plot, basically, in a nutshell. We do have some nonsensical fight scenes. When Gal's fighting blokes, she kind of takes a bit of time to pause for like 2 seconds and then carries on, which in real life you wouldn't pause, or you just wouldn't do that. You want to beat the person up and get the hell out of Dodge. That's what you do. Some of the scenes are shot in the dark or in darkly lit places, so you can't really tell if it's Gal Gadot or one of her stunt women that are just standing in for her for the more dangerous stuff. Even though Gal has said that she had bruises on one day of shooting, and I thought, well, good for you, girl, but if you really want to sell it to the audience, it's you that's fighting and putting your life at risk. Let us see your face and everything that you go through in brightly lit set pieces. That's all I asked for.
I had a few days where I was like, I was so bruised. Like I had like massive bruises on my legs and on my back.
I'm a subscriber, Netflix. Here's my money to you. Give me the goods. Or in Gal's case, just show me the goods. And Alia Bhatt, who plays Kaya, she could have been an interesting villain, because in the first hour of the film, basically Gal and her other comrades infiltrate this bar because they're after somebody called Mulvaney. Not that Mulvaney, but oh my god, how funny would that have been if it was? And towards the end of the operation, basically everything is a bust, because Kaya dials up Rachel and basically shows her a bit of mercy, like, hey, you crashed my party, but you shouldn't have crashed his party. Some of the fight scenes are absolutely diabolically laughable. So you've got this teammate called Yang, who has a fight with this guy much bigger than herself. Now, before you think I'm going to come out with a predictable line, oh, well, she was able to take down this guy with a couple of punches. No, that doesn't actually happen. In fact, the big guy picks her up and chucks her against a glass wall, which I thought was hysterical. What I thought was a bit more ludicrous, that she's wearing a fur coat during this fight. She could have taken it off and just tried to use her fists a bit more, move a bit more comfortably. I get the coat was protecting her from the glass, that makes sense, but in the grand scheme of things, just take your coat off, love, and just show us what you got.
Shit.
I mean, when Gal gets her final showpiece with Jamie Dornan, she gets her ass beaten to the ground. So it's not like, oh, I'm Gal Gadot I'm going to be here to beat you up because you've been a very naughty, naughty boy. Far from it, she actually does get her heart of stone handed to her. So I can't recommend this film, folks. If you want to laugh a minute for 2 hours and just to slap your forehead at some of the forced inclusion and diversity moments in there, you will get a good laugh. I mean, for example, Gal's flying to or driving to Iceland, and who is her co-pilot? A big black woman, mama, with a shaven head, so she can't even have long hair.
Nomad sense are best.
And then I think the funniest scene in the film for me, apart from the ludicrous fight scenes, is once Rachel Stone is in Iceland, she flags down a lorry, and the driver, like a bearded Norwegian dude or Icelandic dude, is like, oh, wow, yeah, you can take this seat. And when they get to the destination, he's like, oh, can I wait around for you? And she's like, no, you carry on. And I thought that was pretty funny. But that's again, it's a little bit of a feminist message I don't need to hear. Like, Gal knows she's pretty and she knows guys are leering at her in the film, and she's just telling them one side, you know, I haven't got time for this. I'm a one-woman army. I've got no one else to go to when I finish my day's job. It's that kind of scenario. And to me, like, if you look at people like Cynthia Rothrock back in her day, you know, she was out there being a showcase in a mainly manly world of martial arts that she could kick ass with the best of them. And that's what I liked about her. And I suppose Gal might be trying to emulate that. I do feel sorry for the actors who are in the movie and the actresses, because they could do so much better. They could be given so much material. I reckon there are about a team of 25 writers in the Netflix room, and they're all told to write 4 pages each. And then they put these pages together, and this is the end result. This is it. And I've got to say, folks, you don't get your money's worth. Now, I mentioned Wonder Woman at the beginning of this review, and I don't know if you guys are actually aware of this, but if we just go to this page here, so Wonder Woman 3 apparently is not in development anymore by DC Studios. And in case you want to know what is going on, so earlier on in the week, Miss Gadot had mentioned the fact that she and James Gunn and Peter Safran were going to rebuild Wonder Woman with the number 3 film, right? Which was cancelled because Patty Jenkins doesn't know how to fucking write or even direct a movie, and let alone a superhero one. And she was saying, oh, you know, you're in safe hands, and we love you as Wonder Woman. We're going to make this film together. And then this announcement on Variety states that Wonder Woman 3 won't fly in the new DC universe, because people were saying, well, if you're going to keep Gal Gadot, why aren't you bringing back Henry Cavill as Superman? Well, I guess Henry's been on the phone to Gal and said, hey, so they did the same thing to you as they did to me. If you want a shoulder to cry on, Gal, I'm right here. And I think that's what's actually happened. And James Gunn is a massive see you next Tuesday. He really is. Because I don't believe for 1 minute Gal will actually go out there and make a sweeping statement about coming back as Diana Prince, because Henry Cavill built our hopes up last year, didn't he, when he says, I'm going to be back as Superman. He was given the green light to say that in front of a camera for social media, and I think it's wonderful that it's backfired against DC, Warner Brothers, Zaslav, all those people. I'm glad it's gone against them, because when this new Superman film comes out, nobody's going to be interested. I mean, I would have liked to have seen one more iteration of Wonder Woman. I think under James Gunn, he could have made it a bit more hard-edged, toned down the colors, maybe give Diana a new costume and make her look real badass, get her to actually fight a challenging villain. But we're never going to see that, folks, because James Cameron, or should I say James Gunn, is an insufferable little bint, and I think he's going to cast his wife Jennifer Willer. Is that her name? Willand? Whatever. Who gives a shit? I think he's going to cast her as Wonder Woman. That's what I think is going to happen. So, ladies and gentlemen, if you enjoyed my review today for Heart of Stone, or should I be, Heart of Rachel Stone, which might have made a better title actually, leave your comments below. Make sure you like this video, and if I were you, and if you were me, you better come back for the next video.
Would you like me to wait?
Definitely no.